So now we're going to look at making our first graph in Tidyverse. I've heard it called different things, a dot plot, those kind of things. I'll show you in just a second what we're going to make. So we're going to make this graph. And what this graph does is you've probably seen this in the past if you took algebra or anything like that. So what we're doing is each of these dots mean that there's an X value and a Y value. So what we're going to do is if I look up here, we're going to look at liter, size of the engine, and highway miles. Again, I'm going to look at this value right here in highway miles because they want to see, is there a correlation between the liter size and your highway miles? So what we're going to do is just copy this code and I'm going to put it into R. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to call it, let's give it a name. I'm going to do a ggplot for liters versus highway miles. And this lets me know what I'm doing. And again, it's really important to keep notes so you can go back and look and see what you did. So I'm going to post it there. Okay, so let's look and see what we're going to do. So it says we're going to make a ggplot, which is a graph, and we're going to do data equals miles per hour. I'm going to do a point, which tells me it's a dot plot. That's where geometric point tells me to make the dots. Mapping equals, so that's what I'm going to do, mapping. I'm going to say, okay, I want you to take this data and map it out on a graph. AES helps us tell it it's a graph, and then X is my liters and Y is my highway. I need to tell it what my X and Y axis are. So then if I do close and then I do knit, it's running it and it's not happy with it. Why is it not happy with it? Oh, let me do this. No, everything should be working. So there's something going on. So let me go back and look at my stuff. It says can't find ggplots. All right, that's kind of weird because we have Tidyverse done. So let's do this. Let's go up here. I know what I did. Okay, so I didn't call it a Tidyverse in here, and that's what I need to do. So I'm going to do library. I'm going to do Tidyverse because I have to tell it what to do in up here in our markdown for it to run. Okay, so let's try it again and see if it'll run for me. So now it knows, oh, look, it's going to run for me. Okay. And it's thinking. All right, so here I am. Again, I'm going to make my layout narrow so I can see it better. All right. So it ran for me. It shows me I've got my Tidyverse stuff. It's being really slow for some reason this morning. Hold on, it'll come back. I think because I have two R windows running at the same time. All right, so here we go. Again, it's showing my data set. And now I did my code. And then if I go down here, look what it did. I've got my liters by my highway miles. And if I'm looking at it, I'm seeing like your highway miles are higher per gallon for 2 liters. And then they start to go down as we go to the higher liters, which would make sense because smaller cars tend to get better gas mileage on the highway. So that's what that's showing me. All right, so I made that graph. So let's keep going and let's see what other graphs I can make. Let's see, what if I want to, let's do something a little different. What if I want to change this? And I'm going to go back and look at my data. I'm going to go look at my data in the book. Say I want to do it for city miles. All I do is this, okay? I'm going to go here. I'm going to go over this. Oh, I'm going to copy this whole thing. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it down here. And then I'm going to do for city miles. And then here, I'm going to change to city, CTY. And then I'm going to run it again. Look what it did. Okay. So what did it do for me? Oops. It wants me to save it. Yes, I'm going to save it. Okay. So... all right, did it not do it? Let's run it again. It's being a little, sometimes it'll be weird on you. That's R. Okay, it didn't like it because it says I have an error. So let's see, did it do it? I'm going to save it. Oh, Tidyverse 1. already had a form there, so I need to save it. I'm going to say Tidyverse 2. Okay. So let's see what it does. Again, it's being a little difficult, so is it running it? Okay, I'm going to close this down and I'm going to run it again. So sometimes, like I said, you're seeing me. Sometimes it'll run well, sometimes it won't. So you just gotta play with it. So there it goes. All right, it finally did it for me. So look, okay. So now, all right, again, I've got all my stuff. I've got my highway. And now if I look down here, I have my city, which if you look at it, I'm kind of seeing the same thing, the same trend. So that's really kind of cool that 2 liter, 3 liter are getting higher gas mileage but then when you go like down to 4, 5, and 6, it kind of decreases. So if I wanted a car with better gas mileage from this data set, I would look at 2 liters for city and for highway. So that's what that's showing us. Okay, so that was an introduction to how to do what we call a dot plot or a correlation plot in R.